GG30 is a abs workout with 3 main goals. Number 1, advanced core training. Number 2, we're gonna bulletproof that spine. I call it the bamboo back, meaning it's super strong, you can't snap it, but it bends enough to allow you to do all you need to do in life. And finally, we're going to fix imbalances between sides and get next level stamina and endurance, okay? I'm gonna give you a rock solid midsection. You'll be done in 20 minutes, but I gotta show you what to do. Ooh, Uncle Baby out here swiveling them hips for the pelvic pendulums. When in doubt, alliteration is the key to success. Here's what we're doing. Elevate the toes, better stretch for the calves, the ankles, the Achilles. Offhand touch on a pull, wall, whatever you can have access to. And I want this leg to be able to swing through. This leg stays straight. The goal of this hand that's assisting is to support us and stabilize us and keep the hips and shoulders square throughout the exercise. All I'm gonna do is hinge back, and I'm actually gonna try to keep this leg as straight as possible. And right here, wow, massive stretch of the whole posterior thigh into that hip capsule. Come all the way through, exhale it up, and try to keep both legs as straight as possible and stay upright here. Inhale down, exhale up, and then start slow, correct at any point you need to at various positions, and then eventually we can actually make it more dynamic and ballistic. And I'm always mindful of my low back position, all right? This is actually, you might actually feel some soreness the next day in your muscles because of it's like ballistic stretching. But again, start slow, ramp up the speed over the course of the set, and just be mindful. Why I put my hand here is so that I can tell I'm never flexing or overly extending my low back. It's always nice and neutral. A slight little divot in the back of the hand helps me with that. This will also stretch my shoulder and chest, so it actually helps with posture as well. So this is just such a beautiful drill. This will help you on, what's the shape, right? Well, hanging leg raises, L-sits, and also our pistol training. So this is a great feeder exercise to all that. I also love it pre-walk, run, or anytime you've been sitting for a while and you want to adjust those hips. Pistol, contract, relax. Again, another genius movement from a genius trainer, if I might say so myself. But again, all we're doing here is we're just focusing on areas of weakness, spending time strengthening those weaknesses. So we elevate the toes of the trail leg, get more stretch at the calf, ankle, Achilles, trying to really get tall up top, squeeze this back glute to open up this hip flexor. And you modify this by going with any sort of lower structure. I can go aerobic step or chair, and you can start lower, but ideally we want to have ourselves in a situation where we're contracting, relaxing above and below knee above hip level, because this is where your psoas get active, right here. Also, critical muscle, your middle quad, rectus femoris, another hip flexor, often tight, and it can cramp up on you because this is a high tension exercise. But you want to do pistols, L-sits, hanging leg raises with your legs straight. This is a really great drill for that. So I'm using some assistance from the wall or pole with one hand, and all I'm doing is, this is the relaxed portion. The leg is straight, squeeze this quad, exhale up, hold for at least a second or two, 3 to 5 seconds ideally, inhale it down. And I'm doing this for time, so it's an active, aggressive stretching mobility drill. Inhale down, let it rest. This is also allowing you to not cramp up, because if we're holding it for too long, you will cramp up on this, especially if you're new to the exercise. So again, resting it, squeezing it on the exhale, full exhale, inhale it back down and rest. And we'll do both sides, obviously. But again, progress to a higher bar or platform to rest the leg on, and just becomes even better by using the slant board. But this will really clean up your form and technique. And a lot of people think, oh, I don't have the strength to do this exercise. Actually, some of you are strong enough, you're just not mobile enough. And that's what this drill is all about. Toes elevated crane. No, not that crane, different crane. I'm thinking of the cranes that actually build buildings and structures. Now we're elevating the toes, and you could say, oh, we already did this. No, you didn't do it. Okay, this is different. Now, when we did the pelvic pendulum, all right, that is more dynamic, and there's not as much strength required in these muscles, the hip flexors and the quads, to keep that leg up, because we're actually using momentum to swing it through. In this case, all we're gonna do is kind of a slight kick back through the heel. I want you to activate this glute a little bit, slightly hinge, but not too much, and then slowly, keeping that leg straight, lift it as high as you can. Wow, it doesn't go as high. Why? Because dynamically, that's momentum. This is pure muscle strength. And especially when we're doing things like the L-sit, the hanging leg raise, you might be stronger on one side versus the other. And that might actually adjust and affect your positioning. So again, we're fixing imbalances between sides. Inhale it back, activate that glute in a nice little kick. Slow, smooth exhale up and just try to really finish through that hip and get tall. And every rep, just try to get a little bit higher. The goal is to get that foot above hip level long term. Think like Jean-Claude Van Damme, all the way up there. It's possible, especially with time, but this is also even more challenging of a stretch because here, much harder to get at that angle and the calf, ankle, Achilles. This will also fortify the Achilles in a big way as well. So again, pistols, L-sits, and hanging leg raises. This drill is so good for that. This will also really get the abs, hip flexors going, and those muscles tend to look good. Handstands against wall, progressing from the headstand with a pad. Now we can go hands on floor closer to the wall, but again, we use our slant boards when we can to get more out of this. If you have really tight wrists, we can actually elevate the heel of the hand. I'm actually gonna be doing the more advanced option to stretch the wrists more by elevating the fingers. This also just gives me a nice little target to work off of, and I can put them against the wall so they won't slide on me. And look, this is an advanced exercise. And remember the first couple times I did this, my wife would be upstairs. We have a 3-level condo in Milwaukee, Wisconsin when I was first doing handstand training. And she would hear me kicking up against the wall because the impact was so loud and I was so big. So yeah, initially you might make some aggressive sounds on the wall. This takes time and practice, but the kick up just takes some off day practice. And all we're gonna do here is get set up like this. You gotta really just trust yourself, keep the arms straight. And I'm going to exhale as I drive through this leg and just keeping this leg straight, kick up into the wall. Okay, so that was a little bit loud. Now coming down just like that. And I can switch legs. And if I have to come down mid-set, you just do that. I get right back in, kick up. That was better. See, even the second time through. Now, all I'm trying to do is push my shoulders away and point the toes and try to get a straight line from my head through my heels. I make this harder by taking the leg away from the wall. And I can also start just doing little bouts of it coming away and coming back. Brief 1-second holds in true handstand shape. All right. And then coming down like a graceful, beautiful 220-pound ballerina, okay? Now, a lot of people get really impressed when they see people lift a lot of heavy weight, but to me, when someone's like muscular in shape and they're also super flexible, especially guys who tend to be really stiff and tight, that's the stuff that really kind of impresses me, because when you're mutant-like mobility-wise, strength is unlimited, right? Because you actually can do it through a full range of motion. Your levers are in optimal position so you can express strength maximally without pain. It actually becomes almost easier. So I'm proud of you for getting to this point. If it's too challenging, go back to the headstand or modify with just the pike off of a bench. But inversion, also by the way, it's challenging. It's gonna challenge your breathing muscles more. It's going to, initially, you got your body and mind have to get used to the blood rushing to your upper body brain, but there's also creative benefits that come with that, circulatory benefits, energy benefits. So love this drill. Definitely something you want to practice on off days. And again, the key focus is you got to keep the arms totally straight and trust yourself in the kick up. You have the strength to get in this position. So just make sure you don't bend or panic so we don't fall on our heads, okay? Okay, dead stop, L-sit. Now, I got my slant boards ready because I do want to allow us to extend the range of motion off the floor, so it's just easier. You actually get a better feel for actually lifting your body off the ground. The fingers elevated option is the most challenging, and the heel of hand elevated option will be the easiest. I'll show it that way because I've been doing enough today as it is. But this is tough stuff, guys, okay? This is a drill that requires a full body strength and tensioning, and it'll just take some time. I'll show modification coming up. You could also, by the way, take a pair of dumbbells and put them on the ground like this to extend the range of motion. Also, that neutral wrist position tends to feel easier as well. So here's all we're doing here. The legs are together. I'm gonna focus on like the starting position here. You almost wanna kind of start from a shrug with the arms straight. Take a big inhale. Inhale it down. and I'm just going like this. I hold for a couple seconds, I rest for a couple seconds. And I come down, okay? So this is very, very tough, all right? You might not be able to get off the ground, and that's why I'm gonna show the modification here off of a high box or step. Join me over here. So this just allows you, especially if there are flexibility issues and keeping the legs straight. And again, remember, sometimes what our strengths, right? Like it's a strength for me to have big, long, strong legs athletically, but when it comes to doing the L-sit, long lever, big weight, super challenging on my core muscles. So it's a disadvantage when it comes to the L-sit. We all have our individual strengths and weaknesses, okay? So what I'm gonna do here is get a lot like this. It allows my legs to come a little bit lower, and even if I can't get them high enough, at least they can get off the ground. So big inhale. They're a little bit lower, right? But that's fine, you're still working those muscles. Now, the easiest option would just to be bend them at 90 degrees, lift, and do kind of more of a tucked body L-sit. So that's the modification option is there as well. My recommendation, start on the floor. If you're finding like I can't get off the ground at all, come right to the box. And then maybe over time, maybe it's half the set is on the ground, come in here, work this a lot on off days because you can do it for higher reps and longer work periods. That'll feed the strength on the ground. But awesome exercise we've been working for all year. This is elite calisthenics drills. Now, as much as I like to pat myself on the back for doing it on the floor like that, true gymnasts, they can get their legs up like this. Like mine were about here. They're getting them up like there. So I have a long way to go to get there, but that's part of the journey. All right, now they're also like 160 pounds, 130 pounds. Uncle Baby's a big boy. All right, he eats pizza. All right, so I do the best I can, and so will you in this workout. So take on the challenge. 4-minute finisher on this is a hanging leg raises drop set. Now I'm gonna show a bodyweight option first, but ideally, you'll have 3 different medicine ball weights you can use on this, and we're gonna go from the heavy to medium to light, then we're gonna finish with body weight on a 4-minute clock. Max reps of each, and how much time is left when you're doing the body weight, and you just keep going for time, rest pausing as needed. But if you're gonna do the body weight only version of this, what we'll do is, we'll do as many straight leg raises as we can, then we'll drop off to as many bent knee raises as we can for the remainder of that time countdown. So here we go. If ideally, you're high enough bar that allows the legs to be straight throughout the exercise, but in this case, I have to bend them initially. I'm gonna exhale up, toes to bar, inhale back down. And then I can also modify by just doing a leg raise to here, and then after I'm fatigued on that, and we're exhaling up, inhaling down, okay? So that'll be the option there. Again, I showed you 3 really hard options, the full range, the half range, and the bent knee option. That's a drop set in and of itself mechanically. Otherwise, I'll grab this big 30-pound ball. I'll typically get between I'll always get at least 3 to 5 reps. All right, so these earlier sets might not last as long, but I come through, I'm squeezing the ball, active in my pelvic floor, exhale up, inhale down. All right, once that's done, I'll put this guy to the side, then I'll move to my 20, my 10, and then I'll finish body weight only. And one thing you'll notice too, as you go to the lighter options, the range of motion will increase because neurologically, if your body was creating the force required at a heavier weights, the lighter weight, just like you run uphill, then you run flat. Oh my God, I'm so fat. Same thing. So emphasize the range of motion as you go to the lighter weights. Rest, pause as needed. My favorite core exercise, the hanging leg raise. So many benefits, grip, the trunk, just getting lit up, and obviously hip flexors. And when you squeeze the ball, it really is a full body effort. So awesome way to finish a workout. Do the best you can if you don't have the medicine balls like I showed. And there might be like 2 minutes left or more once you get to the bodyweight option. Just high rep, keep going, rest, pause briefly, 5 or 10 seconds, and just get as many reps as you can to pump it out. Make your post-workout report in the comment section below. You're done in 20 minutes, and I'll tell you what, throughout this whole month of training, what have you been exposed to? Single arm push-ups and rows and hangs, okay? L-sits, handstands, advanced hanging leg raise options. Take a moment to appreciate the journey. You commit to this. Now, anyone without a busy, stressed out, underslept lifestyle could probably commit to this and do really well, but it's especially difficult when those other factors are in place, right? Short on time, short on sleep, too much work, stress the fuck out. How did you commit to this? It's a mental thing, right? You are mentally different than others. And I want you to take that confidence you built with your body in the gym and take that out into the world and inspire other people and be proud of yourself for making a commitment so few are willing to do as they age. Because you have a couple options here. You can just let age take its toll and beat the shit out of you, or you can fight it. It's tooth and nail. All right? So you age like Uncle Baby. Supple. Soft and supple 41-year-old. Okay? Thank you for doing this program. Enjoyed this workout. Love you guys. Peace.
Go. Halfway. Rest. 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 Go. Halfway. Go. Halfway. Rest.